Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Please Listen podcast. I'm your host, John Follett. Feel free to fall asleep during this episode. If you're listening to this and maybe you feel a bit tired, don't be afraid to rest your eyes, take a nap. If you're really comfortable, get under some blankets, get real cozy, close your curtains, and maybe listen to the soothing, sultry sounds of my voice, and feel free to let it all out and to just take a nap. Go ahead, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Feel yourself drift away. Wake the fuck up. We don't take naps here. Hey, hello, hey, wake up. Dumbass. We don't got time for naps here, okay? I'm taking a page out of my good old pal's John Bernthal's book, okay? Me and John Bernthal, we hate naps. If you're taking a nap right now, fuck you. I hope I just woke everybody up who fell asleep. Maybe this is on autoplay on YouTube. I hope I just woke you up. That's what you deserve for taking. How dare you take a nap? How dare you take a nap right now? We don't got time for that anymore. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about two TV specials. It's weird. They're two TV specials starring and written by John Bernthal. And if you don't know John Bernthal, the one thing you need to know about that guy, he absolutely hates naps. Okay, and people that take naps, he's not a fan. Okay, there's many viral clips of him in interviews talking shit about naps.
I don't take naps. I just don't have time for naps, man. That's for the fucking birds, man. I just ain't doing that shit.
On Hot Ones, they asked him about it when he was on Hot Ones that last time. Not a fan of naps, okay? So if you're taking a nap, cut that out. We don't take naps here, okay? And I'm joining the fight against naps in honor of today's episode. I don't know what this guy's problem is with naps. Johnny B. That's what I like to call John Bernthal. I don't know what his deal is. I like taking naps. I've been taking naps more often recently. I've been living I've kind of been living the unemployed life, even though I still have a job. I've been living the unemployed life. I've been waking up super later than usual. I guess I just have less responsibilities. I mean, the semester for me, my courses is over. That's for one. So I've kind of just had less reasons to be up and at 'em before noon. You know what I mean? So I've just been sleeping in. I've been staying up late. The good thing about staying up late is that I'm free to watch more things. Because it's hard for me to watch things like in the morning because it's bright out. I kind of like having a theater experience if I'm watching something. And I just recently got blackout curtains, which I've wanted to buy for a while, because I think it would help me be able to feel free to watch anything. And my room's always dark. But that also kind of the morning light does kind of wake you up in the morning. If you're asleep, it does kind of, I don't know, some psychological thing where it wakes you up. The morning sun. So robbing myself of that it won't bode well for me if I'm trying to get up early, naturally. And yeah, last night, I don't know, I feel like for some reason, because I was going to bed when I was like actually responsible, I was like, I have to be asleep by midnight. And most times I wouldn't make it because I just feel like midnight is like so early. I guess it's just the way I've been living my whole life. It just seems so early to me. I feel like I have no time. By the time I'm like, oh man, I gotta get in bed and I gotta shower and get in bed. It's like, damn. I feel like I did nothing. I've always liked nighttime, like being like late at night, just having like time to myself where everybody else is like asleep or the world isn't as busy. Just feeling like I can like finally like chill, you know. And so like I only have like an hour or two to do that, and I'm like, damn, that was like nothing happened basically. I basically did nothing. Whereas last night I was up until like 2, 3 a.m. and I was able to. I watched so much. I watched this. One of the things I'm going to talk about, which is the Punisher TV special, and then I watched the last 2 episodes of the new season of Invincible, and the newest episode of The Boys, the penultimate episode of season 5. I'm not going to talk about Invincible and The Boys just yet. I'm saving those for a later episode. But I was like, damn, I watched so many things in one night. I wouldn't have had time to do that if I was like, I should be responsible and go to sleep before midnight so I can get up at like 8 a.m. However, when I do get up like super early in the morning, I do feel like I have more time in my day. I'm always like, damn, the day is so long. I have so much time to do things. Whereas when I'm waking up at like 11:30 to noon, I'm always like, man, I feel like I basically did nothing. There's no time in my day. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I don't know why this guy hates naps so much, John Bernthal. I mean, there's like so many clips of him saying like he doesn't take, like it's not even just like a yeah, I don't take naps. It's not for me personally. It's not for me. It's like, nah, man. He's like, fuck that noise. I don't take naps. This is what he sounds like. He's like, hey, man, I don't take naps, man. Hey, fuck that noise.
This motherfucker takes naps. I don't trust people to take naps, dude. I just found that out. He doesn't take naps, dude. He's a grown-ass man. No, you don't fuck. Dude, yeah, it's like, dude, like the whole world's moving while you're napping, bro. It's fucking.
I get that he's a very busy actor guy. I mean, especially now. He was doing so many things in a short amount of time. He doesn't have time for naps. What about the people that do? I've got time to spare. I sit here for an hour and talk about movies. I've got time to spare. Okay, Johnny B. This guy hates naps more than he should hate Shia LaBeouf. You know that there's that famous interview podcast that he did with Shia LaBeouf, and you know he's like the whole time John Bernthal's sitting there like, yep, yep. Shia LaBeouf is like, oh hey yeah man, I abused every single one of my girlfriends. I just like yelling, you know, hitting maybe allegedly, and John Bernthal's like, yep, yep. God forbid Shia LaBeouf is like, yeah, I abused all my girlfriends, and also I took a nap the other day. John Bernthal will be like, whoa. Say that second part again. I get the first part. What did you just say? What did you just say, dude? You took a nap? That's unacceptable, right from where I'm from. Anyways, that was kind of a weird tangent. Before I get into the main, I'm not sure how long the main topic is going to take here. I got 2 things to talk about, but they're not like movie length. They're TV episode length, so I don't know how long it'll take. There is something that I saw the other day that I wanted to show you guys that I thought was so weird. But I was on Instagram the other day, as you do, as one does, right? And I saw this post right here. This is the account is called Peter Dinklage Actor, and it's got a star, and it's verified. So I was like, oh, it's Peter Dinklage, the actor guy that I know. Thanks for putting actor in the name. I didn't know. And it's some of the cast of Game of Thrones. You see, you got Peter Dinklage. You got I forget her name. I like her though, but I forget her name. Kit Harington. Her, this girl. I forget his name. The guy from the Eternals. That's the only name that I know him from. And it's the captions like POV. The group chat finally met in Brazil, and when I look at the photo, just scrolling by, like I don't like think anything of it, just like seeing it go by. But then I catch the caption saying like giveaway, 30 free swords left, claim yours now before they're gone. Link in bio. I'm like, that's weird. That I know Peter Dinklage is a very accomplished actor. I don't think he would advertise like giveaways like this and this kind of, I don't know, this very I don't know, I was gonna say like hoary way, but that's I don't want to say that. But then so I see this caption and then I look back at the photo and I'm like, this is also a very weird photo. And you know, you probably guessed, it's clearly after further inspection, aka looking at it for more than half a second. This is an AI photo of the cast of some of the cast of Game of Thrones. And it's one of these. It looks really good. It looks really good. If this was like not famous people, I would be like, this is just a real photo. If they were just like random pictures of people. But just the fact, this guy, I'm noticing more and more. Let me do a deeper inspection because I'm noticing weird things every time I look at this photo. One, Richard Madden has Lightning McQueen Crocs. I don't know what that's about. There's the Polymarket ad, which I saw that and I was like, okay, cool. That's what it is. That's who's paying for this or whatever. He has the guy from the Eternals has like I don't know what that is. Like, it looks like fucking Cheerios in a tin. And he's wearing like a Lannister always pays his debts MasterCard shirt, and it's like I don't know. It's like this. It's made to like appeal to like. Of course, he'll be wearing a Game of Thrones style shirt. It's like the most dystopian, weird thing. What is this? I don't know why he has this symbol on his shorts. And of course, the front and center is what's her fucking? I forget her name. Emily Clark. That's her name. Emily Clark wearing Calvin Klein. Very. You could see, a lot of her, and they're doing peace signs, and he's sticking up the middle finger. It's like a very, I don't know. It gives off like a very casual vibe, but it's like, I guess if like these people, and you can see her midriff. It's meant to replicate, and that's the thing with these AI things. They're you feed them, they're being fed like Instagram posts of real people that are basically just like this photo, like casual people, women, shown. They're not dressed promiscuously, but they're just, you could see like their thighs and their midriff. And so it knows like exactly what a photo like this looks like, so the AI can perfectly recreate it. Let me see how many toes does Kit Harington have. Let me zoom in on his toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good amount of toes. I'm counting. I know the fingers thing is out of date. I know the fingers is like, but yeah, this is like almost perfect. Well, it is perfect basically. Like, it looks real, like a real photo. But just like knowing like this, I don't know these people personally, but this is like not a picture that, these actors would take. That's basically how I know. And then I go to the account of Peter Dinklage, actor. The verified account, by the way, that's a big deal. Verified account. And I was kind of shocked at the what I saw. It's not surprising. If we start here, 450,000 followers. 450,000 people follow this account. That is bananas. And he has his the link for his giveaway in the bio. And if you go through, this is why I mentioned Emily Clark, because a lot of the pictures here are AI videos or pictures of Peter Dinklage and Emily Clark, clearly to capitalize on all the gooners who are like, Emily Clark is so hot, I'm gonna generate photos. It's this one at the top right, where they're on like a beach resort. And I don't know. This is like so crazy looking at this. They're all just like Peter Dinklage with, I assume, his female co-stars. And yeah, so I'm just letting you see all of these. It used to not be as bad. I feel like this might be like pre, because these are just like set photos or like behind the scenes paparazzi photos, and then whoever created this account discovered AI and is like, let's fucking go, dude. Emily Clark and Peter Dinklage. And there's nothing saying that this is like a fan thing. It's called Peter Dinklage actor with the little check mark. How is this allowed to get the little check mark? And how is this account so popular? Has Peter Dinklage? You gotta find out, dude. I gotta send this to him, and they're doing this so they can sell their swords. They have their Our Pages official shop is now live. This is crazy. Imagine this is the real Peter Dinklage, and he's like, I just like AIing photos with me and Emily Clark. What the hell, man? But yeah, so I guess that's one of the things that you gotta just expect when you're famous, just to have someone just fake to be you and have 500,000 people believe it. So that's great. That's great. That was just a fun little thing that I saw. I also saw on Instagram, maybe I can find it. I saw a picture of Pedro Pascal. It was like some fans found him at an airplane, and they took a picture with him. Let me see. Oh God, no, not airport photo. It was in an airplane. This is pretty recent. And it didn't go like viral, but I saw a tweet on Instagram. Oh, this thing, this guy, this picture. Flight attendants were taking a picture with him. And what the fuck? Red lips are something Hitler could not stand. He hated makeup. He hated red lips. So now you know if you don't like Nazis, put the red lips on. Damn. But yeah, I mean, you can see it even in this comment section. He's precious but too thin. I don't know. I saw a screenshot of a tweet on Instagram of these pictures, and people commenting on his appearance, being like, that airport lighting, man, it doesn't do good on him. And people were using that to like theorize about, I didn't really understand the context, but about like a potential partner that he has, being like, oh man, they're not treating him well. Look at the toll that it's taking on him. And I was like, damn, dude, imagine. This is another reason why being famous would suck. Imagine you're on an airplane flying, I don't know, like a 4 or 5 hour flight. You're tired, you're jet lagged, and then a fan is like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And you being nice. I like Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal's nice. He's like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then, even though you're not in the best state, you're not perfectly manicured, your hair isn't done, and there's like this airplane overhead lighting. You get the picture taken, and it's posted online for the world to see, and the next thing you know, everybody's theorizing about your potential spouse and your personal life and creating like this narrative because you looked not your best in a photo taken in an airplane. Damn, like that would suck. Like imagine if all the photos of you that were taken, that anybody took of you, were instantly posted online. That would be horrible. I mean, the good thing is he has jillions of dollars. But yeah, this is like I just thought this was like a crazy. We're back to like the old tabloids and magazines of like the crazy rumors. I feel like we've looped back around. For a while, we were like, let's take it easy on these people. They're just people. But now we're back to being like, I think it's all just Twitter. I think Twitter's the real problem. Maybe. I think that's what it is. And yeah, I thought I'd mention that because Pedro Pascal's co-star was on the last episode. I interviewed Baby Yoga. You can check that out if you want to. And yeah, so that's it's a weird side effect of being rich and successful. I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know anything about that. That's all I'm saying. So recently there were 2 TV specials that came out, both starring Jon Bernthal, famous actor, famous hater of naps. Both of them written by Jon Bernthal. One of them was co-written, but Jon Bernthal was a writer on both of them at least. Maybe he was a co-writer for both of them. And the first one I wanted to talk about, which I was super excited for, was The Punisher, One Last Kill. Oh, damn. I don't have like a Daredevil helmet. I know the last episode I had a Daredevil helmet. I don't have any like Punisher memorabilia. I have like an AK-47. I can get that. That's Punisher. No, I don't have that. Um, but I was super excited for this. I was gonna wait to talk about Daredevil so I could talk about the Punisher thing with it. But I thought this would be a better theme. The John Bernthal Variety Hour double feature, talking about both these specials. And similar to Daredevil, Bernthal's Punisher is like a top 3 Marvel superhero, live action Marvel superhero. One of my favorite characters in the MCU. Because I had like a similar experience with him. I remember when that season 2 premiered and Bernthal's Punisher was introduced there. I watched it when it came out. I thought the character was so great. He has one of my favorite scenes in the Daredevil series. There's the argument on the rooftop, which is an amazing scene. The one I'm talking about is him at the grave in episode 4 of season 2. His like 10-minute monologue. I thought it was such a beautiful, emotional, well-acted scene. And since then, I've loved the character. The trial of Frank Castle is like my favorite part of season 2. And then when I learned that he had, I think the Defender, when the Defenders came out, and I think it was like a post-credit like trailer teasing the Punisher show. I remember seeing that and being like, damn, there's gonna be a Punisher show. I was shocked because I had no idea beforehand. And I don't know, in rewatching, because I said in the last episode I was rewatching Daredevil, and now we're in the Defenders. It's so hard for me to say the name of that, the Defenders, and seeing all the rest of the characters interact with each other. I'm reminded about how much I love that corner of the universe, and I'm so glad that they're bringing it back with, these Daredevil Born Again, and then this one shot, and then Spider-Man kind of cozying into this universe, even though there was no Spider-Man in this. Where's Spider-Man, Marvel? I was watching this. Punisher's gonna be in the Spider-Man movie. Why can't Spider-Man be in the Punisher short special? Where's Spider-Man, Marvel? Okay, I was watching Daredevil Born Again. No Spider-Man. Strike 1. Punisher One Last Kill. No Spider-Man. Strike 2. You're lucky Spider-Man's in the Spider-Man movie, or else I would have lost it, okay? But if Daredevil's not in the Spider-Man movie, that's strike 3, okay? I want every character in every movie. All right, Marvel? I was kind of arguing with people in the Instagram comments because I posted a short. I posted a clip from this of last episode where I was talking about not wanting Spider-Man in Daredevil Born Again. And some people were arguing with me. And usually I won't argue, okay? In the past, I've made like sock puppet accounts. Not for my videos, but just usually it was on Reddit. Like if I was like super bored, I would create like a fake account on Reddit and just argue with people about Marvel stuff. That's when I was like had no life. It's been a while, but now that I'm posting these things and giving my opinions on like comic book media, and people are arguing with me, that's like my bread and butter, okay? Because I know I'm right. And I'm infinitely better at arguing my points when I'm typing something than when I am just talking. Like I'm able to articulate my points really well if I'm typing something rather than trying to talk and say things on the spot. So like if you're arguing with me, like I'm in my zone, okay? And I'm trying not to argue to death. Like I won't keep it going one after another because it's the internet. Who cares, But I want to make sure my point's out there, written out, in the best way I wanted to say it. So that's what I was doing, and I was arguing with people who were like, Spider-Man should show up. It's a cinematic universe. I won't get into it now. However, no Spider-Man in this. What the hell, Marvel? I saw a comment. I talked about how I go on Reddit sometimes to read discussions because that's the only place that I know where to go. I don't like Reddit, but that's the only place where I know that people like talk about things on the internet and like forums. And just reading some of these comments. Oh God, dude, this guy talking about like, I wonder if there's a Spider-Man tease, which makes sense. It's like a little, maybe like a post-credit scene, that like a short clip or like a trailer of the movie, or like, I don't know, he rents the van from I don't know, from some guy, the van that he has in the Spider-Man movie. And then this guy's like, that final shot, I was hoping it ended with the shotgun getting webbed just before he pulled the trigger. And I'm like, oh my God, that would have been the. Why don't Redditors write the Marvel? Hire this guy. This is the. I don't know. I just thought these were so. And then this guy goes, I thought it would end with a Jean tease, a Jean Grey tease in the end of the special. If you've seen this special, this. Oh my God, that would have been the worst thing. Don't ever let these guys cook. And then there's this guy. I guess these guys like to do, like, they have live discussion threads where they're leaving comments live. And this guy's like, I'm 15 minutes in and this is not good. Does it get better? It feels pretentious and aimless. And it's like, I'm imagining these guys, like, they're leaving comments on like on a Reddit thread while watching this thing. Like, they're either pausing and typing, or they're typing it while it's still playing. Both of which is not how anything's intended to be watched. So it's like, yeah, no wonder you're not enjoying it. You're more focused on leaving your shitty Reddit comment that nobody cares about. Sorry, that was cringe, or that was mean. But you know, like, I don't know. I just thought it was so embarrassing. So that sometimes I go on there like to see what people think, but and sometimes it just makes me cringe so hard. Spoilers for The Punisher: One Last Kill. It came out pretty recently. I watched it just last night before recording this. Like I said, I was a big fan of the Punisher, Bernthal's portrayal of the Punisher, and I loved his show, because John Bernthal, he had a spinoff of Daredevil. Basically, he had 2 seasons of his own show. I mean, I love that show. I've seen it multiple times. It's a great show. That being said, if you have seen the show, watching this special feels a little redundant. And this is something that everybody said, and I agree with to a certain extent. The fact that he's kind of going through the same character arc that he has before in the show. And because in this special, he starts off like he's killed all the members of this crime family, the Nucci crime family, and he's like, Frank is tweaking in this. He's like having hallucinations. I don't think it's ever been this bad. He's always been like a little unhinged and like imagining things, but he is like fucking going crazy. He's cutting himself. He's slicing his he's carving an X into his tattoo on his chest. I don't remember ever seeing that in the show. I might be wrong about that. Maybe he got that later. And he's like envisioning. He's having visions of his old Marine buddies, Curtis. I'm glad that they brought back Curtis, and they also bring back the actress for his wife, who they play in the show. I'm glad that Punisher's like kind of getting like the Daredevil treatment, where they're also bringing back like the side characters and the same actors. I like that. I'm glad that they're not just bringing back the main guy and ignoring everything else, or recasting everything else. They recasted the kids, but that makes sense because they're not kids anymore. And also, Frank's family's been recasted once before, because in Daredevil season 2, and you see the photo of them, they're different actors. That's, I'll forgive that, Marvel. Okay, that's the original like, Rhodey, not the original Rhodey, because that Rhodey happened before. That's the original Cassie Lang of recasts. What was I saying? Oh yeah, and so he's like, I got revenge. I can't do his voice. My throat's a little sore. He's like, I got revenge. I gotta go home. Go home means like to his family, and the special starts, and he's like at his parents' grave, not his parents, his family's grave, and he's about to kill himself. And then he sees like some kind of vision of his daughter, and is like goes away, and he's super sad and depressed. And he's like, he got his revenge, and now he's like, I'm done being the Punisher. Which, if you remember the Punisher series, that's kind of what he does twice. At the start of season 1, he kills everyone. We see like kind of like a montage of him killing everyone, and he burns his Punisher vest, and he tries to live a civilian life. And then he's thrown back into it, and he learns about this conspiracy about his family's murder. So he's like, oh, there's more people for me to kill now. And then he kills all of them. And then the next season, he's like trying to be normal. And he sleeps with a woman. But he's pulled into another conspiracy, not about his family's murder, but just a separate one. And so he's like, I gotta protect this girl, and I gotta kill these people. And by the end of that season, it looks like he's like, I'm the Punisher from now on. Now it kind of ends very. I remember laughing at the end of the season 2 because it came out 2018, I think, and Stan Lee just died, and the last scene is Frank unloading 2 fucking guns on like this group of gangsters, and he goes like, he's like, ah, and then it cuts to black, and it's like, in loving memory of Stan Lee. I always thought that was very funny. That being said, the show ends with Frank realizing that like even if he gets his revenge, there's a really great scene. They bring back Karen. I think it's like episode 10 or 11 where he's in the hospital. And Karen's like, once you get your revenge, and once you kill everyone that you think you need to kill, that you can stop. And Frank is like, I don't want to. He doesn't want to stop because like killing criminals is like his thing. That's what makes him feel alive. And that's been a very prominent criticism of this Punisher as opposed to the comics. And this is where I kind of diverge from the main opinion. I don't really care that it's different from the comics. In the comic books, from what I know, I mean, I've read a few Punisher comics. Like a lot of War Journal, and there was a recent one that I read that it was all right. But in the comics, Frank is like not wavering at all. He's just a killing machine forever. It's kind of hard to, I guess, empathize with a character which I guess is why they changed it for the show. And I don't really mind because I like the character of Punisher. I've said he's one of my favorite. I find his character so tragic. I could write like a whole dissertation about him. Just examining his character and the tragedy behind it. And the performance too. The performance of Bernthal as Punisher, as Frank. There's moments like this in the special too. Where he's like this. He does like a lot of the screaming when he's going Punisher mode. But there's so many moments, like quiet moments, where he's like this sort of like, I don't want to say nonverbal because that makes it sound like he has like a mental deficiency, but he's like these restrained, like quiet, whispery, contemplative moments where he's like a man of little words, and he's like so whispery. I find it so like, I don't know. It's kind of like, it's very good. It's very subtle, very gentle. I like it. I like it. Okay, and it says a lot without him actually saying things. And there's moments like that in this too. And I'm glad that he keeps the characterization from the version that we've seen in his show and in Daredevil. But they repeat that same arc of him quitting after thinking he's got all of his revenge, and then coming to the realization that, the war never ends. The explanation that I've seen for this that I think really makes sense is that this is like kind of an introduction for people who are going to see the Punisher in a Spider-Man movie and be like, what's this character about? And instead of going, to season 2 of Daredevil, into 2 seasons of his own show to catch up, they're kind of speed running his what his whole character is about in 50 minutes, so you can be caught up if you really care enough to know where this character comes from. And I think that makes sense. That makes sense. It's kind of frustrating for me because I watched the show. I love that show. I love the character arc and the characterization that Frank gets in that show. I think it's perfect if you. This is what's frustrating about it. Like, it's the story of the special is perfect if you just ignore the show. You go from Daredevil season 2 to Born Again season 1, and Frank he's still hunting down everyone involved in his family's murder, right? And You go from there, and then in this special, he's done. He's got it all. He's done being Punisher, and then he comes back to being Punisher at the end of this, and then he goes in the Spider-Man movie. Like that's like there's not really that big of a if you just watch that and if you're someone that's never seen the show like that, I think you would have like you would feel a lot better about what the Punisher's character arc in this. But it's frustrating for me because I've seen the show, and you could still if there's a lot of, I've been thinking a lot about this. You could still make it work. There's still a way to make it work. That's why I don't think it's horrible that they're kind of. I just say it's frustrating. I don't think it's like irredeemable. It doesn't ruin this special for me because truth be told, I really like this special. I really like watching this special. I mean, I'll get into that in a second, but you can still make it work. You can still square it with everything that we've seen of the Punisher, including both the shows. I mean, the main reason you can make it work is just by going like Frank is insane and he's always flip-flopping about, if he's done or not. And a lot of people interpret that as him like not wanting to do it, but feeling like he has to. Where I've never thought that was the case. I always feel like he wants to do it, but he feels like he shouldn't. And his realization in both seasons of the Punisher is just being like, okay, I'll just do this. I've tried not doing this, but this is just what I want to do, so I'm just gonna do it. I guess the way that they could have like made it work is just like a part. I don't know how they would have described this, but like Frank, like he realizes like years later after he already thinks that he's killed everyone, that the Nucci's had something to do. Because in this, the news report is like, the Nucci's are alleged to have something to do with the death of Castle's family. And we see like Frank finds that out, and then he's like, oh, my war actually isn't done. So he kills them, and he's like, the reason I'm still going now is because the universe knew that there was still people out there, and I just had to find them. And he's like, now that I've killed them, now I think I should be done. And then that can be why he's like, I'm done. I got everyone for real this time. There could also be, I don't know how you would portray this, but I think the news report says like alleged to have something to do with his family. There could have been like some kind of reveal where it's like the Nucci's actually had nothing to do with Frank's family's death, and he's been using that like as an excuse. He's been like finding like small like insignificant ways that like someone, like he's like 10 times removed from his family's death. Like, and this whole time he's been like, this person once shook hands with this person who walked this person's dog, and that's how these people are connected to my family's death, so I'm gonna kill them. Like that could have been a way to like he's using like his family's death as an excuse to just go on an all-out war against all crime. And I don't know how you would, maybe you'd have one of the hallucinations, like the Karen Page shows up in this as a hallucination. I thought that was cool. Maybe you have her be like, Frank, you know that the Nucci's had nothing to do with your family's death. You just wanted to kill them because this is what you do. I think that would have been a good way to square it with the characterization that we know now. I don't think it ruins the character of the Punisher. I still enjoy this, knowing the full story of Frank Castle. It's just a little frustrating that they're doing it again. I mean, I don't mind because I don't think that like, I'm not upset that it's different from the comic books because this is the version that I've always known before I even read the comics, the Bernthal's Punisher. I guess maybe it's a little different for super fans of the character. But all that is kind of like the prelude to what the special like is mostly, which is just the Punisher killing a ton of people. He kills so many people. Because at the start, the Nucci crime family is already dead except for like the wife of the boss, I guess, Ma Nucci. And she tells all the criminals and the lowlifes in Little Sicily to where Frank's location is, and they all just go after him and kill him. And it's basically just Frank against the entire city of criminals. And it's like 30 minutes of like great nonstop action and Punisher fighting, and I thought it was really great. What I liked about this is kind of the vibe of the world, because there's like all this crime. It starts with, I mean, the special starts with like a mature parental advisory warning, which I was like, damn, not even Daredevil had this. And one of the first scenes is a criminal, like a gang member or some, I don't know what to call them, throwing like a dog in front of a truck. And I was like, damn, like they're they're cranking up like the horribleness of these gangsters like 11, just so you want to see Frank kill them all. Um, and I like how it's kind of a more pessimistic view of the world. Because it's like with Daredevil, it's like it's gritty and there's a lot of blood and violence. But at the end of the day, it's like Daredevil's like more of a hopeful. He believes in like redemption and stuff like that, whereas Frank is not that. So the world being like less forgiving and more, you know, mean. It suits it. It suits the character, and it's a different vibe from other things, which I like. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. The hallucinations I thought were cool. Bringing back Curtis and Maria, and then Karen was a nice surprise. I'm not sure if Curtis in real life is dead. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't mind that. That would be I was like, maybe that was my other thought. I was like, maybe Curtis dies and Frank feels really bad about that and he avenged Curtis's death or something like that. But I was like, I don't know, you kill the best friend again, like what you did to Foggy in Daredevil. But I wouldn't mind if Curtis was dead. I didn't expect him to be like a in real life like a big part in this, because the special is very like quaint. It's very quaint. It's very small. I mean, it's not small scale. It's like a whole city going crazy, but it's like it's condensed to like one day basically. It's basically just one day, like a day in the life of the Punisher. And I like seeing people's reactions before the special versus after the special, because everyone was like, before they were like, this is the perfect format for the Punisher. Just, you know, just an hour long. You know, you don't need like 13 hours of television because, you know, you don't want to flesh them out too much. I just need to see the Punisher killing people. That's all I want. Until after, now everyone's like switched up. There's no story. This is just the Punisher killing people. But I'm like, this is what we wanted. This is what you were excited about, buddy. And I think this is where Frank works best. I mean, I love just seeing Bernthal. Not Bernthal. I love seeing Frank. Bernthal didn't do anything. This is not real. It's the character. Okay, none of these murders were real, believe it or not. But I like seeing Frank just go all out on a bunch of criminals. Those are always like the parts of the show that I was like, this is nice. There's a part where he's out on the street and he sees Manucci, the woman who, you know, started this whole everyone trying to kill Frank, getting away in like her car, and then he sees like a store owner and his family being harassed by these criminals, who Frank was with. Who he saw the store owner at the beginning of the special, and he was really nice. So he's like, do I go after this lady? Do I get revenge on this lady, or do I go and help people? And he chooses to go and help. And there's the little girl that gives him like the little flower thing, and Frank kind of like has this moment of like realizing that he's more of a protector than a. I mean, he's still gonna kill people. Like that's not gonna stop. But he's gonna protect people in his own way, which I thought was like a nice. Even though this was like a very pessimistic kind of, it feels like watching. It's like when I watch Breaking Bad, I'm like, man, the world sucks. It's kind of like that. But there was like the little speck of Frank coming to like a new realization that he's gonna, because you see it in Daredevil Born Again. He's like, I'm not gonna help these people. I don't care about. Or he's not gonna do anything about the cops wearing the Punisher skull logo, which I was like, that's wow. I would expect Frank to care about that, but it seems like it kind of set up this this arc for that. Probably my biggest criticism about this special is that he wears the costume for fucking 30 seconds. He wears that new costume, that cool new costume for 30 seconds at the end of the special. I saw that and I was like, dude, when the credits hit, I was like, I was shocked in a bad way. I was like, what the hell? They marketed the shit out of this costume. It was in all the trailers. We saw every shot that the costume was in the trailers already. I was like, damn, they really blueballed us the whole time with that costume. And they try and make it better a little bit. They show him in his old costume killing the Nucci's in like kind of like a flashback montage. So you see a little bit more of Frank actually punishing people in costume. But I don't know. That's like that's always been a thing with Bernthal's Punisher. He never wears that fucking costume. He only puts on the vest for like once a season, or maybe like in 2 episodes at the end of the season. But I don't know. I like seeing costume superheroes. There could have been a scene where like there's the people going after the store owners, and he's like, he grabs his vest and he's like, as like a way to be like, look at me. He makes himself like a target because he's done that before. He's been like, hey, to get attention, and he has the skull logo on to like call attention to himself, so people leave the civilians alone. That could have been a way, like a reason for him to put the costume on, or like in his apartment, like someone's attacking like someone in Frank's apartment, and he puts on the vest, and he's like, it's me, the Punisher, go after me instead, and he kills. He doesn't even have to have the full getup, just the vest, just the skull vest on it. And I really like that costume. I like how you've seen the Spider-Man trailer. It's kind of like the logos in this. The logo is like freshly painted, or in the Spider-Man trailer, it's like kind of faded because he's been at it for like a while, I assume. But it looks good. I'm sure we'll see. We're definitely gonna see a lot more action with Frank in costume in the Spider-Man movie, which I'm glad about. But I don't know. That was like the most. That was so sad. That was the saddest part for me, just seeing that costume for only a few seconds. I would have loved to see it. Like imagine the fight scene, which takes up most of the special. Imagine that, and he's in the Punisher vest. That would have been so cool. And yeah, and it ends, and I was like, cool. As much as people complain about there not being like much of a story, this is all I really wanted, and all that I really expected, which is just the Punisher killing people, though for like 30 minutes, which is what he does. That's like his whole MO. Now that he's finally solved his family's murder. So I'm so glad. Congratulations. I guess it makes sense why in Born Again season 1 he was like, he didn't really want to help with the task force, fighting the task force, because he was still working on, maybe he was working on killing the Nucci's. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I feel like that could be like an easy thing for me to just watch again, like put on and watch again, because it's only 50 minutes, and it's like got the Punisher, all of the Punisher stuff that you could ever want condensed into a 50-minute block, all the sad PTSD crazy stuff, and the murder and the killing, and a little bit of the costume. I guess they had to, you know, they're squishing the season into 50 minutes. They had to keep the ratio the same. So that means instead of the costume for 1 or 2 episodes, you have the costume for 30 seconds. So yeah, the Punisher one last kill was pretty good. And the second TV special that John Bernthal starred in recently was a secret special episode of The Bear titled Gary, which that was like a surprise drop. Like there was no promotion for that before it came out. I just remember seeing like a post about it on Instagram the day it came out and being like, what the fuck? Because I've always loved The Bear. I think I talked about season 4 on the show before. The Bear is like one of my favorite shows. And this stars Bernthal, who's one of my favorite actors, and also probably my favorite actor currently, Eben Moss-Backrack. And this is kind of like also like a Punisher season 1 reunion, because they both co-star in that show as Frank and Micro. And so I mean it was like kind of like perfect for me seeing these two interact, because I remember seeing Eben in Punisher and being like, he's a really great actor. All his line deliveries feel like natural and normal. And then I saw him, I think, in Andor next, Star Wars Andor, and he was great in that. I was like, this guy's really good. And then I saw him in The Bear, and I was like, I fucking love this guy's acting. He's he's probably my favorite character in The Bear. Everybody talks about his Forks episode, I think from season 2, which is like one of the best. I think it's one of my favorite episodes of the show, as is a lot of other people's. And then when I heard the rumor about him playing the Thing in Fantastic Four, I was like, that's perfect casting. So I'm glad. I was so happy when I saw that they were making a episode about just Mikey and Richie, who's their characters' names respectively. I don't have much to say about this episode. It's like there isn't like a lot of like lore or like thing like with the Punisher and Marvel. It was just like kind of like a beautiful episode of television. There were many parts that felt very cozy. It's kind of just like a road trip to Gary, Indiana. That's why it's called Gary, because they go to a city in Indiana called Gary to deliver this thing. And it's just kind of like a day in the life of these two, seeing them interact. And, you know, seeing them, while it is like a Punisher reunion, both of them, they feel like they're different characters. So, I mean, I guess it's just a testament to how good how good of an actor each of them are. I see them interact, and I'm like, they have the same faces as these two characters, but they feel completely different. So that's good. A lot of it was very cozy. Seeing them at the beginning, like Mikey's kind of he gets set off by like the smallest things, and then Richie kind of gets him to loosen up, because you know they're really great friends, and Richie kind of looks out for him because of Mikey's a little mentally unstable. That's like a big part of this episode. There were many moments that I thought was funny, like kind of like the immature, like vulgar kind of guy humor that like reminds me of like my dad, and like I thought a lot of it was very funny. And it kind of takes a turn near the end, because Mikey, you know, he has this. It's very sad actually. He has this moment that a lot of people are like one of the most uncomfortable scenes, where he starts going off on Richie about how he's gonna fuck up being a father because Richie's wife is pregnant. And John Bernthal is like so great in that scene. He's so great throughout the whole special, playing like this fucked up. I mean, I guess he's just good at that in general. Because you know he talks about Mikey. Mikey is John Bernthal's character. He talks with this girl at the bar about how his mom was like, she used to switch up on a dime, and he was always like, as a kid, he was like, how could that be the same person? And that was like a source of like trauma for him. And you know, he comes out from talking to this girl, and he's talking about Richie, and he's like, I love this guy. He's great. And he does what his mom used to do, and he switch up on a dime, and he starts fucking just saying the meanest things about Richie. Before the bear even starts, like before episode 1 of the bear, Mikey's already dead. So you only really see him through flashbacks. There's many of the flashback. There's like the one flashback episode, the Christmas one that everybody loves, and like short flashbacks at the beginning of seasons to Mikey. And those, and also in this episode, you see like these moments where it's like Mikey, he's fun, he's having fun, he's happy, he's sociable, he's personable. For a second, you're like, oh, this is he loves people, and he has people that love him. Things could improve, and then it kind of, you get sad again when you remember how he ends up, and like you can't really change that. And it was all beautifully shot too, and the dialogue felt natural. I mean, it was written by the two stars. I don't know how much of it was improv, but I mean, it seems like these two know how these characters talk in a way that feels real. It was fun. I mean, the Bear's always been just about seeing people live their lives, without necessarily that much of a plot. I mean, the plot is just like they have to deliver like these parts to. And Richie at the beginning is like, what's in the box? And they see what's in the box, and it's like the lamest thing in the world. That's like so inconsequential, because that's not what it's about. And yeah, that being said, Spider-Man did not show up. I thought Spider-Man was going to show up. So unfortunately, the Bear Gary TV special gets a 0 out of 10. Yeah, sorry guys. Try again. You fucked up. You fucked up this time. Try again one more time. Maybe have Spider-Man show up. Maybe a post-credit scene with Spider-Man. Maybe Spider-Man saves Richie from that car crash at the end. Spoilers. Sorry, I should have said. I didn't say spoiler. I'll put it on the screen when I start talking about it. But yeah, I thought great week for John Bernthal. I forget when. I think Gary came out like maybe 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so that's all I had to say about this. If you were taking a nap during this episode, shame on you. Next week, I'm going to talk about um, more movies probably and TV shows. Anyways, thank you all for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.